The Carnival of Shadows, the abandoned amusement park, loomed before us, a relic of a bygone era nestled in the heart of the forest. Its rusted rides and crumbling attractions stood as silent sentinels of a forgotten time, their once vibrant colors faded and peeling under the weight of years of neglect. As my friends and I approached, a sense of unease settled over us like a shroud. We had heard the rumors about the park, the stories of its dark past and the tragedies that had unfolded within its gates. But as thrill-seekers, we were drawn to it like moths to a flame, eager to explore its haunted halls and uncover its secrets. The sun was setting as we ventured inside, the fading light casting eerie shadows across the deserted grounds. We made our way through the park, our footsteps echoing against the cracked pavement as we passed by abandoned rides and empty concession stands. As we explored further, we began to notice strange things, whispers that seemed to drift through the air, laughter that echoed in the darkness. But we brushed off our unease, chalking it up to our overactive imaginations. It wasn't until we stumbled upon the old Carousel that things took a truly sinister turn. The ride stood in the center of the park, its once brightly painted horses now nothing more than decaying remnants of a forgotten childhood. As we approached, we heard the sound of music drifting through the air, a haunting melody that sent shivers down our spines. And then, as if by magic, the carousel began to spin, its rusted gears grinding to life as the horses bobbed up and down in time with the music. We watched in horror as the carousel spun faster and faster, its lights flickering in the gathering darkness. And then with a sudden lurch, it stopped, the music cutting off abruptly as the horses froze in mid-gallop. And that's when we saw them. Figures emerged from the shadows, their faces twisted and contorted into grotesque masks of horror. They moved with an otherworldly grace, their eyes gleaming with malevolence as they advanced towards us, their hands outstretched and grasping. Panic surged through us then, our screams echoing through the empty park as we fled from the approaching horde. But no matter where we ran, they were always there, their shadows looming over us like a dark cloud. And then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, we stumbled upon a hidden entrance, a doorway leading down into the depths of the earth. With no other options left, we descended into the darkness, hoping to find refuge from the horrors that pursued us. As we made our way through the winding tunnels, the air grew thick with the scent of decay, and the sound of whispers echoed through the darkness. We pressed on, driven by fear and desperation, until we reached a chamber unlike any we had ever seen before. It was a vast cavern, its walls lined with strange symbols and sigils that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. And at the center of it all stood a figure, cloaked in darkness as it watched us with eyes that burned like fire. "You have trespassed in my domain," it said, its voice echoing through the chamber like a clap of thunder. "And now you must pay the price." With a wave of its hand, the ground beneath us began to tremble, and the walls of the cavern seemed to close in around us. We tried to fight back, to push against the invisible force that held us captive, but it was no use. We were trapped, at the mercy of a power far beyond our comprehension. And as the darkness consumed us, swallowing us whole, we knew that we would never escape the Carnival of Shadows, doomed to wander its haunted halls for all eternity, our screams joining the chorus of the damned that echoed through its cursed grounds. The haunted carousel. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the abandoned amusement park. Its once vibrant rides and attractions now lay silent and still, consumed by rust and decay. It was a place forgotten by time, a relic of childhood memories tainted by darkness. As I stood at the entrance, a chill crept down my spine, sending shivers racing across my skin. The park was rumored to be haunted, its empty halls haunted by the ghosts of those who had perished within its gates. But as a paranormal investigator, I was drawn to such places, eager to uncover the truth behind the legends. With my equipment in hand, I ventured inside, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. The abandoned rides loomed before me like twisted sentinels of a forgotten era, their faded colors and rusted metal a stark reminder of the park's former glory. I made my way through the deserted pathways, my footsteps echoing against the pavement as I searched for any signs of paranormal activity. But the park was eerily silent, its empty halls offering no clues as to what lay hidden within its shadows. And then, just as I was about to give up hope, I stumbled upon it. The old carousel stood in the center of the park, its brightly painted horses frozen in time as they circled endlessly on their rusted poles. As I approached, a sense of unease settled over me, a feeling that I was being watched by unseen eyes. I brushed off the sensation, chalking it up to nerves as I set up my equipment and prepared to conduct my investigation. But as the night wore on, strange things began to happen. Lights flickered in the darkness, and the sound of children's laughter drifted through the air. Despite the fact that I was alone in the park, I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the carousel's haunting. But the deeper I delved, the more I realized that I was not alone in the park. Shadows moved in the corners of my vision, fleeting glimpses of figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. And then just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I saw her. A young girl, her face pale and drawn as she stood before me, her eyes empty and lifeless as she reached out a hand in silent invitation. I tried to speak, to ask her who she was and what she wanted, but no sound escaped my lips as she beckoned me towards her. With a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, I followed her into the darkness, unable to resist her silent call. She led me deeper into the park, her footsteps echoing against the pavement as we ventured into the heart of the abandoned rides. And then, with a sudden burst of movement, she disappeared into the shadows, leaving me alone in the darkness. I stumbled forward, my heart pounding in my chest as I searched for any sign of the girl, but she was gone, vanished without a trace into the labyrinth of the park's empty halls. And then just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I heard it. The sound of the carousel spinning, its music echoing through the night like a siren's call. With a sense of dread creeping over me, I followed the sound, my footsteps echoing against the pavement as I made my way towards the center of the park. And then, as I rounded the corner, I saw it. The carousel was spinning, its horses bobbing up and down in time with the music as if driven by some unseen force. But there was something different about it, something that sent a chill down my spine. The horses were no longer empty. They were occupied by the spirits of the dead, their eyes gleaming with malevolence as they circled endlessly on their rusted poles. I tried to run, to flee from the nightmare before me, but it was no use. The spirits were everywhere, their twisted forms closing in on me from all sides as the carousel spun faster and faster, its music growing louder and louder until it was all I could hear. And then just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, the carousel stopped, its lights flickering out as the spirits vanished into the darkness. I collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath as I realized that I had escaped the park's clutches by the skin of my teeth. But as I stumbled out into the night, the sound of children's laughter echoing in my ears, I knew that the carousel would haunt my dreams for the rest of my days, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edge of our perception.